Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We again like to welcome you to the show Seasoned Citizens, which we're happy to present. My name is Don Lange as your host, and today I'm so happy and proud to present 1990 and 91 Miss Muscatine, Lisa Somodi.
Thank you for having me.
Lisa,
Very
so
pleased
happy
to be
to
here.
have me. Happy to have you here. And we have with us also our traveling companion and business manager, Vicki Weber.
Thank
Vicki,
you.
again, welcome to our show.
Glad to be here.
Thank you for being with us. Okay, you're referring back to some of the history, Lisa. We're not going to go back through it completely, but parents are Joseph and Janice, and you've been attending University of Iowa. Now, you've told me that you are what is called a fifth-year senior. If I can have a little bit, tell me what that means, what you're doing, will you please?
Well, I'm a music major at the University of Iowa. I'm majoring in piano performance and composition. And those degrees have quite a lot of work assigned to them. So I've decided to take 5 years to complete a double major. And so I have 3 hours left on my degree, and I'm finishing it up this year, going to school part-time, sharing that with my responsibilities as Miss Muscatine. So because I'm only going to school 8 semester hours this semester, that gives me a lot of time to do appearances such as this, be on your show, and to visit with the community and do other community-sponsored activities.
Well, that's great. We're so happy that you have this, and to find out what the fifth year means, that actually you're just studying harder than the average 4-year would have to because of a double major, I think
Right.
you mentioned on it. Obviously, your talent for Miss Muscatine was piano. And again, I had the privilege of attending it as an usher, that I have been so fortunate over the years to have that distinction given to me. And I've been due to Miss Vicki here, who's always taking care of me, make sure I get to see that show and tell people where to sit. And it's just always a fascinating thing to be involved in Miss Muscatine and see the talent that we do have each and every year. And again, it's always outstanding. And again, this year, it was just way above average. I think you were just tremendous in winning Miss Muscatine, and we're so happy that you are our Miss Muscatine.
Well, thank you.
Now, I'll go back a little bit over it. Now, this is called a scholarship program. So again, through the years or through the time, you've received some scholarships on this, which you utilize as time goes. Let's kind of talk about your past history of the scholarship pageants. You've been so fortunate in having had other scholarship pageants titles too. I think you were originally a Miss Muscatine. Can you?
I was Miss Muscatine in 1986, and I was very lucky. I never ever thought about running for a pageant. Never had occurred to me, and I never really watched the Miss America program as a child. But one day Vicki Weber called me and said, I'd like to come over and talk about our program with you. And I said, well, fine, but I never dreamed that I would enter a pageant. And she did name many of the benefits, and I thought, well, this time I was a senior in high school, and I thought, well, this will be kind of a fun thing to do before I go off to college. And that's really the motivation that I had behind entering my first pageant. And lo and behold, I won and was a little bit swept off my feet, but had a terrific year as Miss Muscatine, and that time around was second runner-up to Miss Iowa. I gained a lot of scholarship. So far, I've been involved with the pageant system for 4 years and have earned $6,800 worth of scholarship that I've been able to put towards my schooling. And that scholarship has really helped me to ease the financial burden of going to school, and allows me to not have to concentrate on financial worries, but concentrate rather on my studies. And so I've been involved with the program in order to gain as much scholarship along with other things. And so I did run again after my year as Miss Muscatine for the Miss Cedar Johnson program. Did not win my first year, came up first runner-up. That was difficult. And then came back to win it the year later. And just this past June, I competed in the Miss Iowa pageant, where I received first runner-up, and decided that I really do want to become Miss Iowa, and so came back kind of to my home base and my roots, and decided to run for Miss Muscatine again.
We're glad to have her too.
Yes, I imagine you were. Some of the other girls probably weren't, but again, this is part of the learning situation, and I think, again, that Lisa was determined, and her talent continued to improve, obviously, over the time.
And that's something I would like to discuss and somewhat. It was very difficult as a board to think, well, are we going to want a former Miss Muscatine competing in our program? And we had to give that some thought. One thing that's unique about the Miss Muscatine program is that we are what you call a closed pageant, Don. We will only allow girls to enter our pageant that are Muscatine County citizens. For instance, there are some open pageants throughout the state. Cedar Johnson is one of them. If you live in Des Moines or if you live in Davenport, you can run in Cedar Johnson. And our thing is, and it was something that we had to think about, was if we want to get a girl to achieve and advance further at the state level, we have to work with this girl, more and more years. Obviously, when Lisa was 18 years old and competed in Miss Muscatine, she was represented us very well. But it is to her advantage if they are older also.
Sure.
And the only way we're going to get an older girl or a girl that's been on the Iowa stage more than once is letting our Miss Muscatines come back to us. And again, she's not our first Miss Muscatine that's come back. Kathy Keeley, who was first runner-up to Miss Iowa, came back 2 years after that. And so did, who was our other one that had run, was Cindy Weber. And we welcomed them back. I would love to have, hopefully, maybe a Wendy Robinson come back our way, or
Surely.
if Kathy Lemkow, she's now Miss Cedar Johnson, if she should be Miss Iowa, that's great. If not, I would like to have our girls come back. And I think they should be, and the community has been very receptive. And
Always happy to see nice, pretty girls
well,
come back.
it is, and it's
Really.
nice to have our own come back.
Oh,
Like
you
I
bet.
said, we were happy. Lisa worked hard, and she deserved that other chance.
Well, thing too, I think, Vicki, in that vein, in that length of time, like you said, the age, they have gained so much more poise
Sure.
because of the fact having
Sure.
been exposed to the thing.
Oh.
I think in my mind too, I've seen Mississippi Valley pageant. I think there are some Muscatine girls
Sure.
had ran and won that too. I think of a couple different ones.
Leslie
that,
Orr left
yeah,
our
Leslie.
program and went on, and well, that was just great. And like I said, we were, like I said, we dearly love Kathy Lemkow,
Sure.
and she went on to be Cedar Johnson. We wish her well, but again, I'd be the first to admit we'd like to be a little selfish with our girls.
Why not?
Keep them close to us, and because we've been very fortunate.
Surely.
We've had great families and great young ladies, and anything we can do to support them once they become Miss Muscatine, we still keep in touch. We don't want to write them off, and if there's anything we can do to further them in the program, that's what we're here for. That's our obligation to
And
them.
I think they all know that because having talked to Wendy previously and visiting with Lisa, I know that they are very happy to be a part of the program because they know how you're taking care of them and what your feelings are on that. So I think Lisa will back me up saying, more so than I
Absolutely.
could, that you enjoy being involved. And having an invitation, like you said, it was a discussion they had made. You were happy to hear the outcome. And I think now what's left, we've been runner-up to Miss Iowa, second.
Second and first.
We know the obvious now, don't we, Lisa?
I hope
We're
so.
sure going to be there. You have a good gal there behind you who's been very involved in these pageantries over the year and knows her way around, as it were, which is a help too, I'm sure. And your talent, I don't know what you can do any further to develop there. I think you've got it at the peak. Maybe you don't think so, but you obviously are
Well,
studying so hard that doing this.
really,
over
I
the
do
years.
practice between 3 and 4 hours a day. Not just pageant-oriented programs,
sure.
but also for my career, and it requires that much. And
Sure.
it's a talent that I've developed ever since I was in second grade.
Oh, my.
And so it's something that I enjoy, and it takes a lot of work and dedication in order to.
Yes, it would, regardless. And obviously now you're going to be in the spotlight, as it were. It's going to take up a lot of your time with Miss Muscatine. You mentioned the word career. May I indulge in that? What is your career plans? Are you going into piano work and teaching, or you want to be a world-renowned pianist?
Well, I plan to use my piano skills not to become a concert pianist of any sort, but to use them more in a composition geared towards composition, and I plan to use those to become a film score and to write soundtracks to films. A lot of film scores nowadays aren't performed by orchestras, but rather the composer performs them on synthesizers and records them themselves, and so my piano will help me in that realm.
Well, I think that's, I had not realized. I didn't ask you that, but since you mentioned that word career, I thought I should follow up on it, and that's tremendous. That sounds like an excellent, I don't know whether it'll work or not, because today's movies, I'm not sure, you know. Maybe you can get them straightened out there, too. Maybe we can find a place for Vicki and I. You know.
Oh, sure, I'm happy to live there. I mean, we're starting here. Why not just go on up,
Right on up. Now, we talked a little bit about your attending, I think you call it Miss Hoopston pageant. Is that the correct word?
Yes.
Why don't we bring that forward and tell the little levity here in our program what happened at the.
Okay.
It was in Illinois, I believe you spoke of.
Well, if Lisa doesn't mind me sharing a little
Go
bit.
right ahead.
I think a lot of times people think that our Miss Muscatine, we're all very reserved and prim and proper. And I don't know. I think if anybody will look down Mulberry Street occasionally, they're going to see this little blonde-haired girl, big blue eyes, with a ponytail and 5-pound weights around her ankles, just jogging with very faithfully. The figure is always kept, and Lisa's very disciplined, but. So she does become casual, but we did, there is a pageant in Hoopston, Illinois, and it is for all the first runner-ups around the nation that have competed in the Miss America program. And Lisa, being first runner-up to Miss Iowa, would be given the opportunity to be a competitor, but because of her scheduling at school and because of already just have competed in 2 strenuous pageants, decided she really couldn't prepare herself properly. So we decided to go as just observers, since we had a mutual acquaintance that would be participating in this particular pageant. So this is over Labor Day weekend, and we drove to this tiny little town in Hoopston, Illinois with some friends, and we were there, and this particular pageant is held in a big pavilion at a fair. And right in the middle of the fair, the lights decided to go out, or all electricity in the fair, everything, for 45 minutes, and it is extremely hot. Well, before going, Lisa said, well, what should I wear? And she had brought along several nice dresses and everything, and I said, well, listen, nobody's going to know us. We're going incognito. You're not wearing your crown, so just wear a cute little short outfit and just, pull your hair back. And I said, well, just go and enjoy a pageant for a change. And she said, well, oh, great. That just suited her fine. So we're sitting there, and after 45 minutes of sweating and our hair kind of dripping, apparently the word had gotten around that a first runner-up was there in the audience from Muscatine, Iowa. And so when the lights went on, they said, we have a special guest in our audience, and we'd like to introduce her to everyone at this time. There is a Lisa Somodi, Miss Muscatine, that was first runner-up to Miss Iowa this year. Well, I thought the look on her face, and of course I think she thought I was the one that turned her name red. I didn't do it. And she very graciously stood up with the perspiration rolling down and just graciously waved at everybody. Of course, about 500 people turned around and applauded her. As soon as she sat down, she went, like this. But it was fun, and she handled it very well. But it was a good time.
Well, that I think proves the point that she is a Miss Muscatine. She handled it with aplomb and got right up. And I'm sure she did us proud.
She did.
I'm sure everyone's very happy to see Miss Muscatine as Miss Muscatine rather than
and being a good sport.
Fact figure. Yeah, that's
being a good sport.
That's good going, Kim. Happy to have it. Something that was mentioned too in our brief encounter talking here. I think Vicki had mentioned you as a contestant for Miss Muscatine, Miss Iowa, and Miss America as we climb the ladder up to the inevitability. You are now asked, it's something new, to have a platform. You're to schedule yourself a platform that you believe in, whatever it might be. You have made your commitment for your platform?
I certainly have.
Would you indulge that with us?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, the Miss Muscatine program and the Miss America program as a whole really hit a certain core in me, and that part of it was the fact that this program is not only about scholarships but about role models. And so I thought I'd take that one step further in my platform and become involved in the Big Brother Big Sister program. We don't have a Big Brother Big Sister program in Muscatine, but we do have a program called LIFT, and that stands for Lending Individual Friendship Ties, and it's very close to the Big Brother Big Sister program, but it's not quite as big, on a scale type version.
Not nationally yet, particularly.
No, but we're working hard to become affiliated with the Big Brother Big Sister program because there are a lot of kids in Muscatine whose needs aren't met and who do need role models.
Sure.
and need that personal one-to-one contact. And so I've become affiliated with the program and the advisory board that is trying to get that program implemented in Muscatine. And we have done one fundraising event so far so that we can become affiliated with Big Brother Big Sister, because it does take funds to do that.
Sure.
We held a raffle for a trip to Las Vegas. Now that that's over, we still do have some more fundraising to do, and I just encourage anybody in the community that's interested in this program to contact me or contact Family Resources, whether they want to become involved as a volunteer or want to help in fundraising events, or just want to donate some time or money towards the cause. It would really be appreciated.
Well, that's great. That's quite an undertaking you're doing there, and I think it's it's something that I think you should be proud of doing, and I do hope you get the response that you're seeking. And you will carry this now throughout your reign as Miss Muscatine.
Yes, I
and
will.
Do you change, now just curious-wise, will you change platform if you were to become Miss Iowa, or do you stay with, that's yours?
Right.
That is
No,
yours.
I would definitely like to keep this platform because I've been involved with it from the beginning.
Okay.
And so I will, whether we become affiliated with Big Brother Big Sister this year, but if my reign happens to end before we become affiliated with it, I do want to stick with the program definitely till the end and with the advisory board, because it's something that's not only important to me just because of pageant, but it's just important to me as a person to see that young kids today get the support systems that they need and the personal one-to-one contact and the role models that they need in order to become the best person that they can be.
Well, I think that's tremendous, Lisa. I'm very proud of you in the sense that you're seeking out something that is needed in the community, not just taking something nonchalant. And I have some friends, incidentally, in the Florida area that have joined that brother-sister.
Big Brother, Big Sister.
Big Brother. They have become involved in it and are just overwhelmed by it, just really, really happy with it. And of course, down there they have quite a need. They're in the Tampa, St. Pete area, and they are well needed down there to have the Big Brother, Big Sister, because there are so many in need down there. That
And too, with Lisa, she's in a position right now where she is in awe of a lot of young people. I think a lot of people are very highly impressed by her. The crown itself draws attention to her, and she's in a position where young individuals are attracted to her because of her status, of what she's acquired. And I think I have a young daughter, and if I could think of anybody that I would like my Beth to model herself off of, is Lisa. She's overcome a lot of hardships, especially in the last year. I think sometimes we always look at our Miss Muscatines or our girls, well, she's a winner, but
Pretty
Lisa,
girl.
pretty good winner, but not always. Lisa's not always been a winner, and she's had to work very hard to attain that goal and overcome a lot of obstacles, and she's handled them all very graciously and moved on and let them get her down, and also not to make herself bitter. I think sometimes people, she's overcome those very graciously, and my daughter is in awe of Lisa. She knows that the only way you are going to accomplish the skills that she has as piano is by disciplining yourself and giving up 4 hours out of her day. I think Lisa, a lot of times when she could have been out riding around with her friends, has found herself sitting alone at that piano, and it's been very hard.
You do sacrifice a lot, and
Oh, absolutely.
obviously in this, you are a role model, and you are viewed, and you know this. And I'm sure it makes it difficult that you have to be on your toes all the time, that you don't, I know you'd never intend to miss step, but you have to be so careful that everything is just so in line, so people will continue looking at you as a role model, which I think you enjoy, but it is a challenge. I'm sure it's tough to meet all challenges
Well,
like
it's
that.
a challenge. I think when people see a young woman wearing a crown, they may be a little bit intimidated or afraid to approach her, and that's one thing that I've really tried to change. And I think I've really tried to be myself and be down to earth and be approachable, because that's not what this symbolizes. I don't want to be put up on a pedestal or be idolized in that sort of fashion, but just to be respected for who I am as a person, and to have people realize that, you know, I am a normal person. I'm a normal student,
Yes.
and I like to talk, and I like to eat pizza, and you know,
There you go.
there's nothing.
All American girl.
Exactly.
That's great, yeah. And I can vouch for that, because our meeting was first today, and I think we hit right upon it there right away, because like you said, you are very casual and can meet the public very casually and everything. Next thing you brought up, wearing the crown. Vicki, I want to have you do this, because we've talked about it before. We wear a crown with certain aplomb and pride, right? I don't think people realize that there is something symbolic about the crown.
Absolutely.
The points that are there are symbolic of, if you will, for me.
Well, the title isn't superficial by any means. It has a lot of meaning to it, and I wouldn't donate my time or efforts over the years if, and that's what has kept me truly involved. There are 4 points to the Miss America crown, as you can see on Lisa's crown here. The very, very first crown right here over to the side, that is representative of herself, that she has taken all her God-given gifts and used them to the best of advantage in her talents. The second crown in the back here point is representative of all the volunteers over the years that she has come in contact with, and that I do want to strongly point out, it is volunteers and the community support. The scholarship is made by the people here in Muscatine community, and as yourself, Don, you're part of one of those, because you and your wife, every year when we call on you to help usher, we do need to call on friends and family to help us out, and all of you are a part of that, and every year we feel sincerely and deeply thankful for that. The other point here on the side is representative of Lisa's family, which help her get through all of these times, and Pageants and Mom and Dad through all of the good times and the bad times and some of the heartaches and the joys. And then the last point, last but certainly not least, and that's God. He has blessed her very much with the beauty outwardly, but also with her inner beauty and her talent. And for that, Lisa's extremely thankful for that. He has blessed her with all of those. And so those are what our crown points
This
stand
always
for.
sets me back, because I don't think people realize the actual idea of the crown. I mean, it's a symbol, certainly.
Sure it is.
But I always like to have that explained, because I think it's so enlightening to have people be aware that it is more than just a symbol. It really stands for something other than just Miss Muscatine or whatever it represents. So
Community gives a lot to this program. Like I said, every year we call on scholarship donators and chaperones and people to help us continue on in this program. And so then we like to give back, and Lisa then has a lot of appearances. All of them are free. I mean, there's no charge, that she's glad to do that. It is something that we enjoy having her involved in, and going to nursing homes and meal sites and whatever function we like to have her be present at.
incidentally, working into that, I'd like to make the announcement that Lisa is available by calling Miss Vicki at her number, which I think you'll find on our screen now. She's available for, as I think Vicki had mentioned, the different functions of church and whatever, anything that is
Any
a
organization or
public appearance.
Public appearance, Lisa's available. You may please feel free to call me, and I can schedule her in and in her calendar. My number is 263-3476, and if you need her to model or perform. Also, I think everybody knows Lisa as being a very well-established piano player, but she also has a beautiful voice, has done some of her own
Great.
arranging, and can sing. She even has judged sailboat races, I believe, and
Turtle
parades,
races,
turtle
yeah.
races, and
That's
and
nice.
so whatever. She'd be glad to just give me a call, and we will schedule her in.
Well, that's great. I'm sure you're going to receive some calls because Lisa is so outstanding and such a little sweetie that I think we're going to have a lot of people calling
Yeah.
to
Well,
have her
I
appear.
really hope so, because it gives me a chance to really get out and meet members of the community that that support this program.
Right. I think
And-
she said without volunteers, your chaperones, your sponsors are all volunteers to the sense. They help you, but they're willing to donate some of their time and money to give you the chance to become a contestant, and always happy to be the sponsor of a winner. Always happy to be that. And I think yours was Happy Joe's Pizza. We can throw that
Right,
in.
Happy
Maybe we'll get a
Joe's.
pizza. You never
Oh,
know.
sure.
Well, I do get one free pizza a week, so
Really? Now you have some scholarships coming from this year, and I think you mentioned you have over $6,000 occurred over the time being now, which includes this year's. Now that was including the present. Okay, I didn't know whether you were counting. This is already counted in. Of course, that's been a while back that we crowned you. So now we have Miss Iowa coming up. Is that in?
In June.
That'll be coming up June of next year, obviously.
next year.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing you do your piano again.
I will be
would imagine.
performing piano,
Well, I
yes.
just learned that you also have the voice to go with it, but you don't utilize
do.
that in your.
I have more
Too often.
training in piano.
Uh-huh.
I have 13,
So you
14 years
stick
of
with-
training in piano, and my voice is kind of a raw talent.
Raw
She's
talent?
good.
I don't
She's
believe that. I can't believe, Lisa, that anything that you would perform would be a raw talent. Well, again, I think we're getting closer to the end here, and I'd like to remind people that, again, to call. And Lisa is just so happy to be out in the public, because that's part of her being, is being exposed to the public and getting acquainted with the people, because that's who she is, part of the public. So again, I think we're just about time now to say we are so happy to have had Lisa and Vicki with us today. Do stop by anytime, kids. We enjoy talking.
We will.
Well, we enjoy being with you, Don.
Thank
we
you.
enjoy having this this program for you. Again, I'd like to say thank you so much for allowing us to be with you today. We're sponsored by Commission on Aging. We have our talented cameraman with us today, and I'm always happy to be the host. And again, I think we've told you before, if you have something in your mind that you'd like to see on this program, please call, I think it's 7292, and tell them what you'd like to see, because we're so happy to meet anything that we can to make the program more of you, because it is you. We are seasoned citizens, and we are happy to have you with us today. Thank you.